estar acá con SOPHY ROMVARI. Quizás lo dije bien.
Bueno.
Cineasta canadiense, tiene un origen húngaro, eso se ve un poco en sus películas. Para mí, una de las cineastas jóvenes que tiene primero una cantidad de cortos y recientemente ha estrenado Blue Heron en el Festival de Locarno, ganó el premio de primeras películas y no me cuesta mucho pensar por qué. Es una película notable y que además tiene mayor peso si uno conoce la obra conjunto. Y por esa misma razón, este festival tuvo la muy buena idea de poner todas las películas juntas y entonces se puede entender el conjunto del cine de Romvari. Well, now I go to English. Maybe you can imagine what I said. Yeah, I think it's extremely different if you know the previous films and the last one, the first feature film, which has a kind of complexity and there is a dialogue with the others. And at the same time, it's a film that you could see it without knowing anything, of course. It works at itself. But it gains more existential weight in a way, and your substantiality, and it changes completely if you know and if you don't know in that particular sense. And I was praising the festival that they have decided to do the whole, which is a very good idea.
Very kind.
So let's begin. I think even those small films in quotes, that the dogs films, no, in dogs in dogs in ears, or
in dog ears.
In dogs ears. Yeah, sorry, and Malcolm.
Norman.
I
love Malcolm. No,
it could be the next one. Norman.
Yeah.
I don't know what I say, Malcolm.
Yes.
You have to forgive. I have not almost slept because I have a lot of work and I sleep 1 hour and a half.
I'm in the same headspace, so we're going to be okay.
Let's be doing mistakes. No, but seriously, just from even Norman, which is a film about Barbara Streisand dog who has died and then she cloned it in two.
Yes.
So if I see even that particularly, so to speak, small film, which is not, and then I read the whole films together, it seems to be that you are always working with a sense of loss. That is something that it seems to be, for me at least, that it's from beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Not only people who maybe died, people who are alone, or there are some people who are not with them. So the sense of loss, it seems to be, in terms of topics, then we are about to talk about formal things about your films, it engage the whole films that you have done till now. I would like to know, there is an obvious question, an obvious answer in a way, but I like to see how you think about it in terms of cinema, not only in personal matters.
I think it's actually a very accurate theme to approach all of the work, because I think of cinema as kind of a way to attempt to gain control, but then the admission that you can't. So it's like this cycle of always, like Norman is like, this character, myself, is trying to, how can I keep this dog alive forever? And then by the end, it's the admission that you can't. And so it's almost this cycle of having to confront mortality again and again. And then with cinema, it's like this, for me, this film, my dog was 18 years old. He was going to die, but he didn't, we don't know, but he didn't know, but I know. And this, the blessing and curse of the mortality of a human being I wanted to show in contrast with the animal. And the film is now the clone, because now I can watch this film and revisit him, and I think it's such a gift. And I grew up with a dad, much like in the movie, who was documenting all the time. So this idea of capturing and archiving and documenting is so ingrained in like who I am and how I see the world. And this is my the way that I can kind of confront, but also like it's the way that I can live in the world with like any sense of peace, knowing that I can revisit these things and revisit memories, even if it's not, this blue heron is so much about not actually being able to bring the person back, So it's like a cycle,
But at the same time, there is a place not only for cinema, for photographs
Yes.
and cinema.
Yes.
So there is you cannot conjure up the sense of loss, but there is a kind of, let's say, inner world montage through cinema and photographs that you can rearrange what it is lost. That's the feeling that I have when I'm watching your films.
Yes, absolutely. And I think my thesis film, Still Processing, and sort of all of my focus has gone towards trying to understand how you can process loss through the act of filmmaking. And when I made Still Processing, I was doing a lot of research on photography and on the, like Bresson and Sontag, and like these theories around how the death of the photograph and this feeling of death when you see a photograph, because it's always in the past, whereas the filmic experience is mimicking aliveness, and it can almost, it tricks us. It's the closest thing we have to trick ourselves that we are in a present moment, existing something from the past. And I think this contrast between the photograph, I remember that the photographs in that film made me cry, the videos made me laugh. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. And I was wondering, because there is a big difference, which is not the movement, but if not the lack of sound, which is, I think it's something
Sound
particularly strange for mourning processes, because we immediately have a sense of loss from the hearing way, we don't remember. You're younger than me, quite younger than me, but for instance, people who have died, my father, my mother, and so on, I don't have memories.
Yeah.
The sound memory. I have photograph, but do not have and the voices are gone.
And you can't recreate.
But it's interesting because when you said that this difference between photograph and the moving image, the moving image is with sound.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing to
It's actually
notice.
that's a good point, because I think this is part of why I was so focused with my sound designer to create a very intense sound design. Like it's very naturalistic in terms of there's nothing out of this world, but it's like we are really highlighting the
But there is the difference of sound. It's true, it's what it is there, but there is a change in what is the perception of
sound
it.
is such a, like you said, such a big part of memory, and there were sounds that were linked to the memories that were stronger than the images. Like for example, this moment where Sasha's parents are in the bathtub and she's in bed. This is very pulled from my autobiographical experience, because my parents would have a bath every night, and I spent so much time with my sound designer to find not just the sound of the water in the bathtub, but the sound that a body makes when you move in the bathtub. Because I would be in my bedroom, and this was such a calming sound to me to know that my parents were in the other room and relaxing. And
it's amazing how memory can map what has been done. And of course, when we read Marcel Proust, the way that he understands the relationship between the movement in the bed and the idea of the light behind the door. So it's extremely difficult to understand that, and I feel that your film goes around that, and it's quite a particular blessing as a cinephile to see that.
Thank you.
I like to go for the last one for a while. I would like then to come to, there is of course a quite obvious but not completely, which is something strange, between Still Processing and Blue Heron. It's not exactly that matches. In the second case, there is someone who died, or we are not exactly know why, which is, I think, an interesting and intelligent way to be respectful to him. But we can make the connection that is one of your brothers. You have two brothers who have died, which is appalling in a way. And that is in the still processing,
Yes.
and then you have this blue heron. But here you have a fantastic. You remember? I just remember that there is a Gilles Deleuze book in Spanish, which is Critic and Clinic and Critic. In the Spanish version, there is himself with a mirror, and you have like many Deleuze.
Yes.
Well, I have the feeling that your film, it's like that, the Blue Heron, because you have on one hand, at the very beginning, then you realize that the very beginning is the very end.
Yes, yes.
Inside that, there is a film.
Yeah.
There are two times. There are images that the father is being producing in the first part and then is used in the documentary. So this kind of juxtapositions of images. Can you tell us a little bit why you have chosen that particular way?
It's funny. There is also this image in Blue Heron when she stands in the mirror with the
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
it's true.
yeah. And I was actually stealing this from I think it was Out One.
Okay, yeah. You're a very Rivetian lover. I have learned that, and I love very much that.
It's the inspirations are always just like maybe one image or this like little thing, but it's anyway. I'm glad you noticed. So, sort of why I'm integrating the photographs into the. Can you maybe rephrase?
The way that there, you have a kind of organism, which is the film.
Yeah.
But this organism as a film has one inside the other.
Yeah, I see. Yes.
And you use what is being produced at the beginning for the second moment in a different way.
Yeah, I think my main. Moments of inspiration when I'm watching films, like historical films, retrospective films, is like, you can do that with a movie. Oh, you can do this with a movie. And my question is always like, when I'm watching other movies, why is this a movie? Why not a book or you know? And so I think for cinema, it's like important to me that it's. I'm a very emotional filmmaker, but also I think about the form a lot because it's like the whole purpose of making a movie is showing through images and an emotional experience. So I feel like I'm drawn to things that are somewhat bringing your attention to the fact that you are watching a movie, but also creating an authentic emotional experience. So like I'm really interested in like meta textual kind of cinema, like A Chronicle of a Summer, or they're kind of interrogating the authenticity within cinema, or this, or Symbiopsychotaxiplasm is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, we are about to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because when I don't know the person, I know the film, but not the person. I always do the same. I go to
the sight and sound list.
Yes.
I had a feeling.
That is a very good way. It's a map.
And
it's one of your films. But I like very much the list because the list is very how do you say that in English? Heterogeneous.
Yeah.
And I love very much because Sixth Sense is there.
Oh, it's Signs actually, but I love Sixth Sense as well.
Yeah.
And we can.
It's the other one.
Yeah, but I and also Close Up.
Yeah, Close Up by Kiarostami, and then there is a Rivet film.
So as much as these are like my favorite films, but there's like a small inspiration from almost all of them in this movie. Like it's it wouldn't be obvious always. But I try to find ways.
But I think the way that you think about that is what I like when I discover a filmmaker. It is how the filmmaker himself or herself, she or he, understands how she is in the process of the film tradition.
Yeah.
And what I see in your film is immediately that, okay, this filmmaker is thinking in those terms. He's not just making movies.
No, yeah.
It's something different, and
that's
quite clear from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And,
I think obviously, this is so obvious, but the best education is to watch as many movies as possible because it's opening your mind to the possibility of what you can do. And, and there's no film school that's going to teach you these things that you can't learn from watching as much film as possible. And I think this meta commentary within the films. I was in so many of my films before, and this was mostly because obviously the films are personal, but also I had no money. I was
to put an
yeah.
I realized that.
You can see
because
yeah.
in this one you could have done it.
Yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
you didn't,
and I
it's
didn't.
very important that you didn't.
It's very important that I didn't.
Because there is I think there is a small detail and a kind of. Because you work with repetitions and differentiation, there is that I think I see that, but in this one, you feel that it's more a fiction,
yes,
completely,
yes.
even though some materials are not.
It's very scripted, actually.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, all the dialogue is very scripted. There's this section with the social workers. That these are real social workers because I wanted them to actually speak from their professional experience. But even this, we shot a camera test where I knew what they were going to say. I generally had an idea that this is going to be the conclusion. So let's have a 3-hour conversation and let them get there. So this was not about documentary. It was about authenticity.
Yeah,
and
I understand.
I really hate these the terminologies of genre, like hybrid and fiction.
No, well,
and
hybrid is a big problem because it's a way to stop thinking.
Yes.
You know,
I could not agree more.
And your film, by the way, it's not hybrid at all.
No.
It's just fiction.
I agree.
But a very well use of something which could have been a documentary, but you took something different.
You take the tools that you need to get the outcome that is your intention, you know. Yeah.
Tell me something about, which I love, particularly the way that you use the music in this first fiction feature film.
Yeah.
Because the music is there, but it's not as usually music is being played in films, which is on the top. It's in like a kind of dreamy.
It's diegetic.
Yeah. But it's beautiful the way the level of the sound of the music. Can you tell a little bit?
No, I could talk about the music for a long time, but it's in the first my concept was that basically the first half of the film, it's almost every time it's coming from a source within the film. Or no, every time it is, but then sometimes I transition this with the sound mix into what feels like score. But it's always coming from the dad's computer or the radio or the car radio. And this was something that I wrote in the script, like that I wanted it to be this way. And
you feel that it should always be diegetic, or
yes, yeah.
This is something that you understand, film, like for this film.
Yeah, for this film, because I think score, it can be very invasive and forceful, but I think music was a huge part of the atmosphere of how I grew up, and it felt completely strange to me to not include this. And it was very much inspired by, again, looking at my dad's home videos, which are very unique. They're not average, like birthday parties and things. It was like he was a documentarian, basically. I have a documentarian's eye documenting my entire life and an archive that I have seen maybe 10% of. But when I would look at the videos he would show me, oftentimes there would be music that they were playing in the background, and it could be something as simple as me, like there's a video of me when I'm like potty training, like learning to use the toilet, but there's Mozart loud in the background. And I thought it's so amazing to contrast this completely unimportant moment with this great work of art. And I liked this juxtaposition, this mundane moment with the music that feels like score, but it's not score. So this was the inspiration to show the atmosphere that this father was creating in the house. And then much of the music is, most of it is very inspired by his taste, which I've, of course, adopted myself. But then in the second half of the film, it was important to me that now we are, it's a more sterile environment, but then now we are using score. Mm-hmm. So there's actually a montage for the first time in the film when she's leaving the social workers, and there's a montage set to music, and there's nothing like this in the rest of the movie. And it was important to me that this was score. But then trying to integrate very subtly like this, the emotional experience. And then, of course, by the end of the movie, I admit it's a little bit, it's emotional. And but it is emotional.
But the film gains that particularly small gift.
Yes, yeah, thank you. I mean, I know I know what I'm doing, but I know it's intense.
There is something which I think is one of the best moments in the film, and even later on there is a small, not surprise, but again, how very well thought, which is the moment that the kids, you as a, are playing with the other brothers. They are jumping. The older brother is in his world, and the father is recording from the window. The mother is looking at this, knowing what the hell is going to my son. And then your shot is from here.
Yes.
This moment is fantastic. How you have thought the sound of that scene, and then it's fantastic that we have a counter shot later on of this particular.
You noticed that?
No, yeah, of course.
Not everybody does.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
And I was wondering, when you did it, you know it already that you were about to split the counter shot later on, or when you were writing on film, or is something that you have discovered in montage?
Do you mean when you hear the sound of the mother?
I mean that you have the other perspective, but later on.
Oh yes, yeah. We
you
had
know it from the beginning.
Yeah. We had this in the camera blocking, and yes, yeah, because we had this old camera that we were also.
And you always, most of your films, something that you wrote mostly in advance, or it's.
So many of my short films, it was like a loose.
Just to go on.
Yeah, like it was still processing. It was like she goes to the university, she opens the box, descriptions of what the scenes were. But because I was in it, I could control the the dialogue or whatever myself. So many things were not scripted at all. And so I think I was very concerned with the script in this film, and the structure was very particular. And I think it took a long time to make sure that this the bifurcation of the film, these two halves, and to find a way that this can be done visually, because I was 100% against to show 20 years later on the screen.
That is very well introduced by one of the social how do you say
social workers.
Social workers.
But even just I had this image of like the.
But you realize
the
because there is no phone and then there is a phone.
Yes,
you are with the.
and so many of my films I'm using technology, so I really like to.
But through that it's already established like this, and there is the jumping and the ellipses is through the device. You okay? We are in another.
But it's the only thing that excited me, because I didn't want to just show. I couldn't stay with this family anymore. Like I'm not interested in just showing.
But you have
this family drama.
It's true, but you have done something extremely strange, which is not always been done in films. When it's been done, it's quite interesting because it's something ontological and impossible, which is to find oneself with oneself, but in another age. Can you tell us why you have chosen that?
Yeah, I mean, so this timeline jump, I was really invested in not cross-cutting. I wanted to show childhood, then adulthood, and to make the audience feel that we have now left this behind and that she's struggling to process, still processing her past. And so it's really trying to convince the audience that now we are in the future and this is behind us. And then she's studying social work basically as this, vaguely documentary filmmaker, and she's trying to understand what could have gone differently. And then I realized in writing the script that what do social workers do? They do house visits. They go into the home. And that's when I realized I should show, as the child, the social worker arriving, and then this can be repeated by her. So she's basically recreating a moment that, as a child was pivotal as this character. And then she can role play, embody this. And this is also something social workers do, is this role play game. And I realized that if she she can have this dual moment where she's both a social worker and a filmmaker, because she's interviewing them and she turns her phone, she records it on her phone, and I realized I've always been interested in the intersection between filmmaking and social work and anthropology and psychology and how these things merge. And so then I realized, basically, so much of the script was realizing, what if it was literal? What if she literally goes back and has this conversation with her parents? And I liked the idea that I'm imagining the parents are seeing the real social worker and she's seeing her parents. And so there's no logic that is clear.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be.
And then
apart from that, it's a possibility in cinema.
Yes, exactly. But the letter, I will say the letter itself that she reads, that was an inspiration from a movie I watched 2 weeks before we made the movie.
Which?
It's called The Bed You Sleep In. It's John Jost. He's like experimental.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. And it's this really incredible movie.
Yeah, I know the film.
Yeah, and then there's this very emotional letter at the end. So it kind of it just provoked this thought that what if she's telling what's going to happen? Just tell them. And so thinking she can.
The only memory that I have in a film recently done, what you did, this cross section inside the frame, it's Cronenberg's Spider.
I haven't seen it, actually.
You should.
Okay, I'm interested.
It's one of his best and more underrated films, by the way.
I want to say that
it's one of his masterpieces by far.
Okay.
And it's particularly incredible
Canadian
cinema. Whatever Cronenberg is, because it's beyond everything. It's a country himself.
Yes, he is.
But you have to see that, because it happens in the film.
Okay, I want to see this.
And it's a different way, because it's a trauma and it's a psychotic fighting to understand the fragmentation of the mind. And it's extremely fantastic what he does.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think just to finish this thought, basically, like when she goes into the home, there's two things she wants to do, which is to confront her parents and offer them this.
Yes, a kind of advice that because because
she's the social worker in this moment, but at
the same time she knows.
Yes, she knows. She has this information, and then to continue her role as a social worker, logically, she would take Jeremy, because this is what a social worker would do. So I thought, this is a good opportunity to give them a moment together. And like how you said, I'm repeating shots. So like at the beginning, we know these children are watching TV. So when she enters, this is the moment she interacts with herself. But it's more, this is a moment of confrontation where she sees herself, but really it's to see Jeremy because she knows that he has passed. So it's the surreal element, and then we're seeing him disappear in pieces, basically.
It's interesting how I was thinking about the titles of your film. You have chosen a title for the first feature film, which is different from all.
Yeah.
But the rest could be one onto the other. Like it's him. It could be this film. The title.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone repeats themselves. Every filmmaker is making the same movie again and again.
The best ones.
Yeah.
You don't have to have plenty of ideas. Only one, and visiting around.
Yeah. It's funny when you don't even realize your own themes sometimes. Like people can point out themes in my work that I'm not always.
That's the whole life.
Yeah.
Can you imagine to be alone? You could never understand anything.
It's true. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of film, because it's sharing that possibility in a much complex and I would say in terms of numbers, many people, reach a possibility. You cannot imagine sometimes how a film like this can reach some people who has a sense of loss and so on.
Oh, yeah.
But in a way that is not just, this is not a therapy. Mm-hmm. It's something different.
I think actually, like you said earlier, it was important that this movie was fiction.
Absolutely.
This is, because I had made films already where I did this, more therapy driven, like playing myself. And I just wanted to direct this movie. And I'm so glad it gave me creative liberty to make this movie. And I can.
But this is a very interesting way how to understand fiction, because through fiction, you can access some kind of hidden truth.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a way to put it in a different way.
Yeah, it's
the
actually
use of fiction.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That.
It's much more liberating, actually, because when you tie yourself to the audience's expectation of documentary, you're actually restricting yourself
Absolutely.
from the truth.
But it's fantastic at the same time to see the last one
Yeah.
as a kind of dialectical movement around the whole films that you have done before.
Yeah.
And I wonder what will be the next film. It's a difficult film to make, the next one.
Yes, it is.
Because I can imagine that maybe you could begin with something absolutely different.
I know, and it's like this film is so cumulative, you know, of my work and then also of my life. So I might have to live a little more life before I know. But it's not that I think I need to make personal, like as directly personal films, but I think I'm, like I said in the beginning, like I really am not interested in making a film just for the sake of making a film. Like I have to find a reason. One, why is this a movie? Two, why am I making this movie? Because
those two small questions. You cannot imagine how missing questions are nowadays for filmmakers.
Yeah.
They just do films because they have a camera.
But it's so much time, so much resources, so much effort. Like this film took 5 years. Like I think it's, and I loved making this movie. Like I enjoyed the process very much. Like I got to make it how I wanted to make it with my incredible collaborators. Where it was a very small and loving crew, and I loved post-production. I loved the whole process. So I want to enjoy it again. I don't.
So you were around everything, right?
Oh, like everything, yeah. And at the end of every step, I cried because apparently I can't handle change very much. But I really like at the end of the edit, and I got to edit it with one of my best friends who's also a filmmaker. And so when we finished, I realized, I'm not going to go to your house every day to edit anymore, and that's sad. We're moving on from this, and even the sound design and even the color correction, like I just loved making the film, and it's such a gift.
Well, the final idea of the chromatic outcome, it's quite particular in the film also.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the time to say goodbye. And by the way, read her 10 list movies inside of Sound 2022.
One or two might surprise you.
Very good. No, but it's a very good list.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate this.
No, really.
Thank you.
You can
now
find
I have to look up yours. Yes, exactly.
We have some sharing.
Oh,
things.
you do. Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you
have been so nice, and on behalf of the festival, it's a privilege and a pleasure that you are here in Spain, in Gijón, in this particular festival that I think embrace your film with its heart.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Ciao.